guys had a full set of bombs already. I think a couple of other things. I'm probably missing a couple.
Sword, fire rod, bombs, bow, cane of Samaria, cane of Burna, and hammer.
Hammer, that's right. How could I forget hammer? Everyone loves hammer time.
The reason we are forgetting the hammer is because we may actually want to do Aga 1 to get over to the east side of Dark World.
Oh, Uncle's already calling this one with us. So let's see what is in that first chest. Oh, Fetch Quest. Interesting mushroom.
It's definitely interesting. There is no easy way to deliver that this early on.
Not unless I get the flute early, and then they can just kind of do it any old time here.
Yeah, that definitely simplifies it. And another thing as well is that we didn't see Uncle have a sword, and that means that Uncle will not give a sword.
No, sir. No sharp pokey sticks for you.
The pokey stick will be fun later.
Oh, both runners are going to be excited about that. I did a little research, and they said that's what they wanted early, so they got it.
Yeah, that's their favorite item and wants to get it very early on.
Same here, and we got Cape here in the next chat. This is getting interesting. Especially with that bow too, because now they can full clear Eastern Palace.
They can full clear Eastern as long as they are confident enough in doing their dark rooms.
Yeah, the dark rooms aren't too bad, except for that last one. So it's a pretty easy one to get confident with, as long as you're aware of the rock clops and after the big key room.
Yeah, definitely. I've mentioned a lot of times, so bow start, maybe we'll finally see someone head to Eastern, but I just keep on getting disappointed and everyone heads to Kakariko anyway.
Well, admittedly, Kakariko does have the higher concentration of chests, so I can't blame them. 20 rupees there in that chest there, so that'll help them with the bottle vendor.
Not only the bottle merchants, 100 rupees. If they don't manage to find enough bombs, they will have to spend 50 on that as well.
Yeah, and that's always a hard thing to do when you have to go buy the bombs, because you really need those. There is a chance you can find them out in the out near the bombable hut. The bushes there in the middle of the big part does have a possible bomb drop.
That is true. In general, though, players do just want to prefer to get the guaranteed bombs at the vendor, assuming they have the rupees for it and they've been able to use the bombs earlier to be able to pick up the 30 rupees at the back of Lion's Basement.
Yeah, that tends to be more of a useful thing when you're doing open mode than standard mode like this one is. But hey, in a pinch, it's always good to know where your items are.
Oh, absolutely.
And Ball and Chain Guard gets the point, and let's see what's in Zelda's chest here. Just a key.
I was still looking for the potential map, which is somewhere at least. That key will always be found before that, or before you get to the locked door, I should say.
Always possible. The good thing is a small time saver. If you haven't found it once you get to the priest, you can just skip that chest because we all know what's in that one.
Pray do tell.
Map! That is if you haven't gotten it from all the other chests previously.
Yeah, that's a precious final chest with the map. It all does come down to whether or not you have counted your items and you know you can skip that one.
I don't have a full count on the items. I believe it's like 6 or 7 if I'm not fully mistaken.
I've never counted the items for escape, I just look for the small key in the map.
That's fair. Sometimes it's easier to count those little items there and do less math, because, you know, math is fun.
Yes, math is something.
And Amatsu with the slight edge in getting inside the tunnel first here.
And these advantages at this point matters very little, because you can get an 8 bomb drop and be in the lead instead.
Speaking of bomb drops, we just saw 8 bombs for both runners here. Very lucky, very nice.
That sorts out the bomb issue and makes it rather unlikely that either of them will be buying bombs in Kakariko.
And hey, there's your map before the locked door, so everybody gets what they want today.
Yep, that leaves 4 items remaining.
I always get hyped for Back of Escape. It hasn't had as much in lately in matches, but my first rando had the progressive red mail, hammer, and cane of Samaria in it, so I can't help but get a little hyped.
I'm just always grateful to see either both players be able to check it or none of our players being able to check it.
All or nothing, I like it. Yeah, because it's one of those things. Ooh, Moon Pearl.
Well, we got the Moon Pearl, we got the Cape. Are you feeling this Aga 1 yet?
I'm not sure what's going on yet. They gotta find a sword or a bug net first, so I'm not sure if bug net is in logic, but at least if they have the bug net, they can take on Aga, technically.
You'd still need a sword in order to get to Aga 1.
That's a good point, yes.
And of course, the lamp, but, well, the lamp is always somewhere. Hopefully it's not in Mystery Mire.
And Michael saving and quitting. And while Amatsu doesn't, this is our first major divergence already, about 6.5 minutes in. This is pretty cool already. I like it.
I've not seen this before in this tournament. Oh, we finally going to see the Eastern first.
I think you're getting what you want here.
Or is it Mushroom?
No, we're getting Eastern first from Michael.
Oh, I'm so excited for this race now.
Sweet Spiffy Keen. And just a green rupee drop there from that particular pull from the tree. And oh, hearts from the crab. Those are always such a pain because they fly around so erratically and are hard to catch.
On the mirror on the ledge! At Lumberjack!
Oh, they are gonna have a bad time on that one.
Well, to be fair, this mirror is only required for Swamp and maybe for Desert depending on where the book is.
That's true, but you can't dispute the value of having it just period. It is such a useful item, even if it isn't required.
Oh, absolutely. At this point, you should still bear in mind that there's a lot of other possibilities open, and imagine though that when we see the Dark World map checks in the Light World now, we will have a much clearer idea on when they will pick up that mirror.
And it's all crystals in the Light World here, 1, 3, and 4. And so we're going to have 3 Pendant Dungeon potentially skippable.
Yeah, sometimes you still have to make those dip into Pendant Dungeons to get an item or two that you're looking for.
Many a race has been determined on whether you dip into a Pendant Dungeon or not. And speaking of dungeons here, Eastern has 3 items in it, and we've only found the compass so far, so all 3 are still on the table right now.
Another interesting thing is that with this potentially very delayed mirror, it reduces the possibility of you being able to make a Palace of Darkness into Eastern Palace check with the mirror. So going straight to Eastern here makes a little bit more sense, even though Michael isn't aware of this.
Yeah, I think that's going to work out in his favor, because when he finds out where mirror is, oh my. But half magic isn't a bad find from Amatsu right there.
It's definitely a nice item to pick up. It's going to prove very valuable later on.
And just some health for, just some health and half magic and Blind's Hut there.
Michael did find the big key already in Eastern.
Not bad so far.
3 skeletons, it's not 2, but it's not 4.
Ether medallion in the well.
This is a very crappy Eastern map and compass already.
I think it's trying to be like Mullet Dungeon Light. It heard the old saying about Pod, like, hey, I want to be Mullet Dungeon too. Oh, the single arrow. Oh, that is a sad first item to find.
Oh my goodness. You went through all of that just to get 1 arrow. That's a nice trade, though.
And 300 rupees from the bottle vendor. I think he needs to go back to trading school.
Yeah, it needs to take Sora 101.
You stay in business by not blowing all your money. But inside Crazy Chicken's Lady's Hut is our sword now. So if they want to go do Aga, I guess they can.
What would you do Dark Room Aga 1?
For me, no. I am a man who needs his lamp for the most part, so I wouldn't do it.
I don't think I've ever seen anyone do Dark Room Aga 1, actually. At least not in a race.
I've seen the pod maze done in the dark by 1 or 2 people, and I gotta tell you, that was impressive. There we go. Hopefully this next item from Michael won't be so disappointing here.
And Michael had to clear out this room down to only 1 heart, so being disappointed yet again, which is more arrows.
We've gotten a grand total of 11 arrows, folks.
And so far, this gamble to do straight Eastern has not paid off for him.
It'll pay off at first by being ahead on crystals at least. And very, very nice idea. Getting a quick fairy to heal up.
Yeah, this dark room coming up is very tricky. That was really well done to get that key.
Kudos to Michael. That can turn into something very ugly very easily. So nice job.
Yeah, Michael has definitely done that before. That was very well executed. Amatsu had some hesitation, actually tempted to go over to Eastern, but will go down and drain some water instead.
Yeah, I can see that. That's kind of some more traditional routing, and that's kind of what I do too. Can't blame him for that one.
It is quite uncommon to see route diversions early on. Even when I've seen seeds where players have dark wall access in Kakariko, they still go and take this south to southeast route all the way to Ice Rod Cave and find silvers.
Yeah, it's just a matter of getting. I like to get as many items as I can, especially if I can get like more hearts or defense. Because if anyone's like me, enemies love to give me hugs all the time. Oh, silver arrows from the drain swamp! Look at that. That is beautiful.
So sadly, this early dip is not going to be as beneficial for Michael because Amatsu will be able to do this boss fight faster.
But if you know what you're doing, which it looks like Michael definitely does, it's not going to be much of an issue whatsoever. And a bottle. Actually, that's not too bad, because when he goes to Kakariko, he can route in Sick Kid too, so that's a pretty good silver lining, I think.
Sequence break Sick Kid is not something you hear every day.
But heck, hey, let's find out. This could be very useful.
Could absolutely. Oh, there's the other. Oh, and the hammer as well.
Maybe the uncle was wrong. I think we're having a very good time so far. But it's too early to say. But Uncle proven wrong so far.
I mean, who knows at this point? And here's still interesting. Michael is going through with this decision to leave out Kakariko for now.
Kind of an interesting decision. I actually haven't seen that, to be honest with you. I think Michael will be slightly disappointed in finding the silver arrows now, but will be pretty happy for the rest of the run, I think.
This is definitely something new to me. I have not seen. I commentated some like 25 matches this tournament. I've never not seen Kakariko first, so 15 minutes in, no Kakariko feels really weird to my head.
How about 15 minutes and having the first crystal?
Yeah, that's also pretty weird.
There's our lamp.
And Ice Sword Cave having something also feels very weird, so now the Sick Kid is in Logic. And so is Saga. Bloody hell.
I'm liking where this is going so far. I mean, you know, Mirror on Lumberjack Cave aside, this is a pretty great horde of items to have in this early going.
Yeah, but Dark World is now full in Logic because you can do Aga 1 and you have the hammer to get over to the west side, somewhat.
You still do need at least the power glove, so we haven't seen that yet, but it's still pretty early going.
And we're still missing a fair amount of items here as our players just going through what the other player has done.
There's our other cane and hammer time.
With all of this information here, Mushroom, Aegena's Cave. One of these two, or it's Saga 1.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting call as to what's got to be done here. So I think they're going to have to check everything first.
And of course, Sick Kid. The thing is, all of these item locations are quite out of the way and difficult to route in, except for the Sick Kid for Michael.
Yeah, because Amatsu's going to have to go back after that Kakariko check. And I think it's kind of something you accept if the bottle's on the way. Hey, cool, great, let's slip that in. Just, it is kind of tricky to slip in later, though.
Well, Michael is going out of Ice Sword Cave, so he's going to set up a fake flipper here. No flippers means that all of this is out of Logic. Gloves do open up Sora, but no gloves means that Sora is also a sequence break.
That's true, yeah, because you can do Zora, you can do the waterfall, and you can do Hobo. So there's still plenty to find, but as you said, it is out of Logic, so they might not be happy with what they find.
Or they find the gloves and they don't have to do Aga 1, or they may still have to do Aga 1 anyway to get the mirror at Lumberjack.
That is a good point, yeah. If they gotta do Swamp, then they are most definitely gonna have to do that Aga Seed. I know chat will be happy if that's the case.
Oh, we still need to find those boots somewhere, and the boots can be in a lot of situations, basically anything that isn't mirror locked.
And just a big 20 from Hobo there.
Can pick up 100 at the waterfall. This is an acceptable amount of money. Amatsu will have an easier time here in Eastern having the lamp and silver arrows.
And plenty of arrows to go along with it. There's one now. Ooh, close one there from Michael. You don't want to get hit while fake flippering, because otherwise that is an insta-death.
Indeed, and movement when swimming can be a bit weird sometimes.
Yeah, it can be a little bit dicey. And if you have bad luck like I do sometimes, you'll get a nice arrow to the face right as you're getting in to see Hobo or trying to get into the waterfall. So just got to be careful all the way around. Speaking of waterfall, nothing much in that one.
And sadly not finding sufficient rupees, but still will be able to check the ledge.
Yeah, usually if the prize drop placement is nice, they don't have to worry about the ledge. But if it's nice to you, farming Zoras isn't really a bad way to go sometimes.
Michael is trying to farm some Zoras here to get rupees for King Zora.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I've not seen many players try to stick around at the Zora region to farm rupees.
No, it's something I only personally do if I only have like 10, 15, 20 more to go at the very most. It's kind of one of those, hey, I can get it on the way, but I'm not going to sit there and farm them if the prize drops aren't going to be nice to me.
I do know there was a match with a Samurai Man where he didn't have enough for Zora, tried to farm a bit, and then he decided to not do that, so he used the flippers because he had them, went back, checked Ice Rod Cave, and used the small cave there with the gloves to pick up rupees there, and then head back into Zora and pay Zora 500 rupees to be ripped off as per usual.
Yeah, that's always a mean one. Well, there's a few more rupees, but yeah, Michael finally doing Kakariko now, so hopefully should get all the rupees he needs.
It's a very good Silver Armos Knights fights for Amatsu for his first crystal. And another thing here is that Michael did not go up and check Lumberjack here, so he does not know that the mirror is there.
I've seen that from some players. Some players will skip it unless they absolutely have to, and then others will go check it first thing. What do you do?
I check it, but I'm bad at the game, so you're better off not asking me. The thing is, I think most players have already decided if they want that information or not, and those who don't want it, they tend to come back either after they've done Aga 1 or after they found boots, or they got both.
For me, I'm kind of a stitch in time saves 9 kind of guy, because if I have that knowledge, I'm personally going to want to route that in if I have to get it. So that's useful information for me.
Yeah, that also makes a lot of sense. We'll get to see our little mushroom delivery here now.
We'll see what we get. The other thing with that, too, is if they do need to get Lumberjack, they are also going to need the boots. So chat making a good point of some people putting it off until they actually get boots to get it. And we have Quake Medallion. That could come into play.
2 medallions this early on is definitely a great feeling to have moving into the Dark World.
It's interesting. I like it.
So Amatsu very likely have to go and check Sick Kid, and then after that he only has Aeginas left before Aga 1.
Kind of the thing you're hoping not to do, but, you know, sometimes in Rando, it is what it is.
Such is the life of A Link to the Past randomizer.
That's how the Rando rolls, my friend.
The good and the bad.
Speaking of bad, there's bad trading practices.
As stated, we'll need some tips from Zora on how to handle that properly. That's 3 bombs from Sick Kid. That does just leave Aegina and Agina. Or, wait, what? English is a language? Aegina and Aghanim.
Hey, no worries. It's all good.
At this point, the Aga 1 does make a lot of sense, because unless there is a glove at Aegina, this is still the play you have to make.
Yeah, indeed. And it is kind of a farther out of the way thing, especially if you don't have anything that can get you there quickly, like the flute. So I really don't blame Amatsu into just saying, screw it, and going to Aga.
And it is still very likely that this is required because of this mirror location on Lumberjack.
Indeed. So if that's the case, Boot shouldn't be too far out of the way. We'll have to see if they have to do Swamp Palace or not.
Indeed. We'll have to wait and see that, but Michael is making the same call here, also skipping Aegina. Also skipping the mushroom.
that may or may not work for him. We'll have to see when we get to the Dark World before we can make a really good judgment there.
Well, with these items moving into the Dark World, you don't have a lot of options.
No, not really, unfortunately. So hopefully something will be in Logic where they can kind of get around a little bit better without the gloves, but at least they have Hammer, so that does open up a little bit more to them.
They do have Palace of Darkness, the Sometimes Hype Cave, and Old Stumpy and Shovel Spot. It should be Shovel Game.
Yeah, not too bad. I've seen that be kind of a hit or miss with the Shovel Game, but at least there's still plenty to check without, so we'll have to see what happens here. Then with Pod having 5 items in it, that wouldn't be that bad of a play, to be honest, even if it's pendant.
Indeed, since it is fully clearable given these items. You may still hope to see someone just decide to go and check Hype K beforehand if it is a pendant. If they do find gloves here on the pyramid, that changes everything.
Yeah, that would be a crazy find to find on Pyramid Ledge.
Well, about this talk about this being a nice seed, I feel like we can throw that out of the window.
Maybe kind of sorta. I've seen a Jet Aga seed or two in my time, so you never know still. Now if we have a sorry, go ahead.
I guess it depends on where we find those boots.
Yeah, and if it ends up being a ped seed after all, we can throw that out the window and have ourselves a good laugh.
Well, the thing is that people like to say that, oh, pedestal seeds are so bad, but if you have the book and you can check the pedestal and see that, oh, it's a pedestal seed, then it's really not all that bad because you still know you have to full clear all the pendant dungeons.
Indeed, I mean, there's always silver lining to anything, but yeah, it just kind of stinks when, oh, you do get a full clear everything. I gotta put in that much more work.
First blue ball. Guess it's a little too late to make any guesses about how many.
Now we'll have to see. At least it's always good to have one regular ball before and after zappy time.
There's one on the first cycle, and the first projectile on every cycle is always just a regular one. Well, that's 5 hits, need one more. This is still a very good Aga. The difference between 2 and 3 blue balls is quite significant since you need to wait for an entire lightning strike. Now, pyramid item of the day. Amatsu is going straight for this, not even bother checking beforehand, and will be disappointed with that. And Amatsu is opting to go towards Palace of Darkness before even having done a map check.
Like I said, I don't blame him because, I mean, hey, 5 items, and it seems either Pod or Swamp tends to be really good plays, one or the other, even if it is a pendant dungeon from what I've seen, so not a bad call, I think.
Swamp is always a bit of a weird dungeon because 6 items makes it very lucrative, but you can go mode it, and that's really fast.
Kind of the best of both worlds. Good for item hunting, good for go mode. It depends.
Or the worst of both worlds.
And did Michael see what was on the pyramid ledge? Didn't get a chance to see it, unfortunately.
Me neither, but it was just 3 bombs.
Oh, then that's nothing he has to worry about then. Good.
Well, 4 players will be making this trip into Pod without even taking a look at the map.
There's Ice Rod. Ooh, very nice find. They have to do Turtle Rock. We still don't know.
Yeah, if they don't have to do Turtle Rock, that's not an item you want to find.
There we go. Well, they don't have to do Turtle Rock. Looks like Thieves Town, Pod, and Turtle Rock are all our pendant dungeons today.
Skullwoods and Mystery Mire at 5-6. So we will need boots, which will be required for the mirror, which is required for Swamp. So, but even if Agena did have a glove, this is still Force Dagger 1.
Yeah, definitely.
Of course, now Palace of Darkness, we know it's not going to yield a crystal, but it is one additional item.
Yeah, out of all the pendant dungeons you can full clear, green one is probably the best anyway. I've seen a couple of races come down to whether you do get that item from Sahasrara or not. So today, Pod technically having a potential of 6 items.
It's going to be a bit interesting to see when either of our players are going to route in that trip to Sahasrara, because they've already done Eastern, so there's very little reason to head over there.
Yeah, I don't think Michael went over to cash in the mushrooms, so it. Yeah, definitely. You know what? Come to think of it, yeah. Kind of thinking about the routing choices as well. And there's a lot they could do, but without that mirror, it can get a little tricky.
Yeah, and they can't find the mirror here in Pod because we know where the mirror is.
Ooh, close call fall for Matsu there. Good call using that, trying to use that hammer too. It does have a bit of a wonky hitbox, but it does do tempered sword damage, so it does pay off if you know how to use it proper.
I tried to walk over to that heart, but it just despawned as he was going there.
Ah, oh, lame. Ooh, Amatsu, careful there.
At least bombs will not be any issue in this seed.
Absolutely not. And we have our big key found in that little stray ledge over there. And a big 50 and a 20 in the dark basement there. So 2 or more items down.
Also sitting on a good amount of rupees even before having done the sword check. They have spent the 110 rupees here in Pod. Samasa takes a very unfortunate death.
Oof, yeah, that's always tricky.
Darkworld is rough, sitting only on the green mail, and the heart counts are not as high as you may want them to be.
No, I mean, generally in the vanilla game, if you haven't really grinded for heart pieces or anything, this is roughly about what you're going to be at, but it doesn't make it any less difficult.
Indeed, A Link to the Past Randomizer is a very difficult game. As is the original game as well.
Having silver arrows for the Mimic is always nice, though. And even if they weren't able to, even if they didn't have the bow, there is a glitch involving using a potion where you can scroll the mimics off screen and continue with that is allowed in the tournament for that room.
Indeed, this bottle glitch is quite new in terms of discovery, but is allowed to be used. here in Palace of Darkness to get past the mimics.
I haven't personally seen it yet, but I've been curious to see it in action myself. And Michael is setting up for bomb jump. This is always sweet to see.
Does he have enough time for this?
It's gonna be tight. Ah, nice try though.
Definitely one of the hardest tricks you can try in A Link to the Past.
But it looks glorious when it's pulled off anyway. So, Michael having trouble, but I love the gutso here on it.
If you do just want to play it safe in this situation, just get all the chests over on the east side and go around the labyrinth that Amatsu is doing now. Take the big chest and then just take a death warp back to the entrance. Assuming you don't pick up a ferry or get something like Sandcart.
Yeah, that's always tricky. And you gotta remember you have a ferry too if you're gonna death warp, because otherwise you're gonna use that insurance ferry.
Indeed, this time however it's a green potion that our player has. Players.
Not a bad thing to have, but we'll have to see what the other bottles have.
It should just be a small key, right? No, it's a piece of heart.
So yeah, it looks like aside from ice rod, like a potential ice rod, Pa's not having that much this time.
Indeed, so I guess we will be moving towards Hype Cave after this.
Can't blame either player for making the play, though. I mean, 5 items, and it's generally had some good stuff more often than not. Can't blame them.
Amatsu has missed a chest. That's what confused me about there not being a small key in the big chest here. But I can't remember which chest he missed.
I don't think he's been down the harmless hallway, so...
That's the chest he can't get to, and I did see now that the chest he hasn't been to is the one on the east side of that room.
There it is. It looks like that, oh yeah, that's still locked too, so that's, a little tricky.
So he's gonna find a small key here, and then the 2 chests that he hasn't opened are both small keys, because he needs a small key to get to that chest, and therefore it can only be a small key there. It's one of those things where you really need to understand the key layout of Palace of Darkness.
Yeah, if you're not careful, especially if you're a new player, it's easy to think you're locked out.
Yeah, but Amatsu here is going to spend a small key and get a small key for it. Assuming I haven't forgotten another chest. And then the one in the Harmless Hellway should also just be a small key for another small key.
Trading keys for keys.
No, wait, now he has 2 small keys. He didn't find that one drop down, so he has map and compass. There's a 50-50 then. Michael checked that chest, and I don't remember what was in there. Amatsu is likely going to go back to the Harmless Hellway and check that chest, since he does have 2 small keys. There is an item there, but it's not an important item.
We'll have to see if Helmasaur has something on it.
Someone in chat saying that Amatsu didn't unlock the front door. If that is true, then there will be a small key in the Harmless Hellway. Palace of Darkness is just very weird when the small keys don't line up the way that you want them to, and also when you do take a death, it makes the routing a bit weird again.
Yeah, it's you really gotta know your layout and stuff in order to get through it. So it's a good thing to get familiar with Pod before you jump in it in Randomizer.
But Michael's going to be doing Helmasaur now, and we will get confirmation here from Amatsu. It's just a small key, so he did not unlock the front door.
So I believe our final item is on Helmasaur then.
Absolutely, map and compass have both been picked up.
And one silver arrow is all it takes for Helmasaur, which, granted, the lack of hearts is probably a nice breather thing there. And just a big 20 for our efforts here, and Michael gets the green pendant, so may or may not be worthwhile. We'll have to see what happens.
Indeed, but it's quite the trip over there, and it's likely still going to be staying in the Dark World here. Check out, or it's going to save and quit and just disregard everything I'm talking about.
Still plenty of places to check so far, so we'll see what happens.
To this location, he is going back into the Dark World. Is this faster to get to Hype Cave?
Oh, well, it's kind of the only option he has right now because he still has to get the gloves. There we go. In order to lift the stone to get over by the Swamp Palace one.
No, that's not what I'm talking about. Is it faster to save and quit back to Link's house, or just walk from Palace of Darkness?
You know, I'm not sure. I haven't thought about that one before, actually.
Because he could have just gone back to this bridge and just used the hammer instead. I don't know which one is faster.
Then he has to go walk through, like, all the pod maze again, so... I don't know, might feel faster.
Yeah. I think I need to time that one day, but now that I said that, I likely never will.
Well, we're gonna get our Hype Cave check here, so everybody get your hype ready.
Yay, I'm so hyped.
I love your enthusiasm.
You're welcome.
And 5 extra bombs so far.
No, that's pretty meh. That's pretty move.
Well, we get a Master Sword out of it and another fetch quest item, so give it 5 out of 10.
I mean, that was still quite nice considering just fighting a bunch of 20 rupees and capacity upgrades.
Absolutely, and you do need the Master Sword at the very minimum to be Ganon, so that's a good progressive find right there.
Shovel is a bit tricky to route in once again without the mirror.
Yeah, that is quite true. So we still have yet to see the boots and gloves. So we're seems like our run is running out of places.
Can go ahead and do the shovel game, and then we have the shovel spot, and then we have Aeginas again.
Maybe he'll give us a hand there. Who knows?
Or perhaps something a bit more leg-while.
Maybe we'll just get a piece of heart and it'd be gruesome.
That makes way more sense.
And just a bomb upgrade from Diggy Diggy Games. So I don't think Michael's digging it very much.
So save and quit back to Link's house. Do you do the shovel? Do you do Sahasrara, or do you do Aegina?
Tough call. They're all out of the way. You can't really route one in with the other, so it looks like shovel spot is the check for Michael.
And arrows from Sahasrara.
You have earned getting my point. Congratulations.
Palace of Darkness had nothing unless this is a pedestal seed.
Well, they do. They've already got one item so far. So there's our boots. We can pick up a mirror now.
So mirror is going to unlock Cave 45, and anything more than that?
Well, we got the Bonk Rocks right next to Sanctuary.
So that's 2 item locations.
And they are going to have to dip into... they're going to have to go into Desert Palace as well, so there's no worry about it being boots locked. And we have this item here at the library. Just a sealed, opting not to here.
Well, Amatsu's gonna go ahead and check a genus.
And no, we got a full heart, so yeah. Helpful, but still gruesome.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but Michael still hasn't checked Lumberjack.
No, he hasn't, but I think he's going to start going over this way now for it.
He has to do... Oh my goodness!
Shovel is the fetch quest item that we know and love this seed. I am digging this now.
Well, you know what I'm digging? I'm digging a 10 out of 10 Hype Cave.
Hype Cave was a hidden gem this time. I like it.
Well, Hype Cave gave the shovel, shovel gave the boots, and the boots gives the gloves and the mirror.
And happiness abound.
Now you suddenly have a lot of options on how you want to route this, but the most standard is still you take the portal at Kakariko into the Dark World.
That's a good point. I would probably do what Michael is doing here and go into Death Mountain since neither of our players have checked it yet. They haven't been able to.
Yeah, they do have a fire source guaranteed for Tower of Hera.
Indeed, and you can take the... and you can also get to the Eastern Death Mountain as well, because you got the hammer, you got... Oh, nope, no Dashy with boots. He's too old for that. But, yeah, you can take the hammer away to the right of Hera.
Yeah, the only issue here is lack of myths and hookshot to be able to check Dark Death Mountain. It's going to take some time here for Amatsu to go through with checking the shovel location, because he's doing the same thing that Michael did.
Yeah, at that point, though, it's kind of... Like I said, too, it's kind of hard to route some in with the other with the options that he has at this point, so it's kind of... It's kind of a pick your poison sort of thing.
Yes, and Amatsu did put his priority on the green pennant and a genus before heading back into the Dark World.
And nice use of the super speed glitch there. You can do it without hookshot, but it takes a well-timed spin for that one.
It's definitely harder to do it with the spin than with the hookshot. Well, no book for the tablet, but Tower of Hera is a full clear with 2 items.
And a small chance it could very well be in there, too. So let's see what happens. Crystal Dungeon, too, so gotta go in it.
Where is Amatsu going? He has not picked up the boots from the shovel spot.
Seems like going around a different way.
And meanwhile, basement required in Tower of Hera, not much to say there.
And potential coffee break time if you feel like it. Michael doesn't seem to drink coffee, seems more of a tea or soda person. I'll have to ask him later.
I think Amatsu got some practice in, just in preparation for the Frog World Tour.
Yeah, without Mirror, that's kind of a pain in the butt, but I think I'll be pleasantly surprised if he goes back and gets that Mirror, which I bet he's going to now.
Save and quit the Sanctuary, check Bonk Rock, get your gloves, and then head up Lumberjack and get your mirror.
And nice use of a cape trick by Michael. If you put the cape on and then grab a wall, it does not actually use any magic, and you keep all the benefits of having a cape.
Yeah, this game is very well programmed.
Bank error in your favor. Collect $200.
Whatever you say.
And Amatsu's finally getting his power glove there.
Michael takes an unfortunate fall, but thankfully it was on the 3rd floor, so not too big of a problem.
Yeah, I always hate those beetles, and of course they're there to meant to bounce you around and have a good time, just like a Moldorm up at the top.
It's going to be interesting to see if Amatsu is going to follow this path up to Death Mountain or make this trip into the Dark World.
And just a 5-arrow, I think it was, 5-arrow upgrade from that first chest there, so nothing much so far.
And Amatsu will follow Michael's route here.
And we have both of our items, so not a heck of a lot from Hera, but honestly, a full heart container is nothing to sneeze at, so that's, every little bit helps.
They are still sitting on green mail, so even though they have 10 hearts, most enemies will do 2 hearts of damage in the Dark World. It's only 5 hits and then you're dead. Of course, this is still a crystal dungeon, so there is no reason not to go up here in the first place.
Absolutely, and let's see what Resident Trolldorm is gonna do today to our players. Nicely done! Good job, Michael. You've been practicing that one, you can tell there.
That was a really good fight. And such is the life of a Moldorm. Just go around randomly in this weird circular area that someone has decided to put you in, then you get an unwelcome visitor who wants to kill you.
So what do? You bounce them on out of there.
Yeah, pretty much.
But, you know, as far as... Oh, deadlock. Oh, that's why we hate deadlocks, everybody. Or deadrocks, excuse me. We'll put you in deadlock.
They do put you in deadlock. They also make you just feel dead inside when that happens.
I cannot tell you how many times that's happened to me, so it can be soul-crushing.
What was on the island?
It looked like something blue. I thought I saw the 5 rupee, but I could be mistaken.
We will know in due time. Amatsu is going to be checking that soon.
And those the blue bari, they're a very shocking experience if you're not careful.
I like Amatsu's usage of the ice rod here.
Speaking of, well, not shocking, there's Bombo, so now we don't have to worry about any of the medallions now. We know where they all are.
It's always a great feeling to have, but the interesting thing is that Michael hasn't picked up this quake yet.
Be interesting if that is required for Meyer, because I believe that was a crystal dungeon, if I'm not mistaken.
Meyer is one of the 5-6 crystals.
And for those of us just tuning in, where was the other one?
I mean, I'm still thinking of it, but was it the mushroom?
The other crystal, excuse me.
The other 5-6 crystal? That was Skullwoods. Oh, there's our myths on East Death Mountain. That's a fantastic spot to find it, and the fire rod.
There's a lot to get your mitts on there. Beautiful. So we have both rods. Skullwoods now is full clearable. We get the help from the blue mail, and we get a lot of sweet stuff. I think that should be renamed Hype Cave now.
is definitely a contender. And now you can make some sort of super mass item check with a incredible Frog World Tour with those myths.
Oh my gosh, yes. And we'll have to see at what Turtle Rock is if they do have to go into it. But oh my gosh, so much to check. I am totally hype.
I mean, they could have done a super tour if they hadn't been forced to do all the shovel locations and no Stumpy earlier, but they will be able to check K45.
And Ether for Turtle Rock, opening it up, not a bad maneuver. I mean, if you do end up having to go into it, that's one less thing you have to do later, I guess.
There's no reason not to open it here. You never know if it's gonna be needed later on, so... We're still looking for a few useful items. The hookshot, the flippers, the flute, and the cane.
Yeah, with always the Gomo thing. It does sneak up on me a little bit on what they need, but it always seems to be when they just have a few items left.
Master takes a very unfortunate fall on everyone's favorite boss.
No shame in it. Even the best of the best have done it. So that's why we call them Troll Dome, folks.
And Michael will be able to check one item here in Hookshot Cave.
Ah, there he goes again. And it's for Tempered Sword. Not a bad find to be able to check that.
It's a really good sword upgrade to find, and the first 3 swords you get are more important than the last one.
Butter Sword is always nice to have, but Tempered Sword is the one that you're really going to want. It is such an upgrade between Master and Tempered that it's really worth getting.
Absolutely, and we're also going to see Michael here opt to do this Spike Cave. He has both invulnerability items and a green potion, so he's going to get this without any problem.
Oh yeah, I like his. I've actually liked his choice of routing so far. It's been interesting, but it's worked out really good, and it shows a lot of practice. I like that a lot.
I fully agree. It's been a very interesting route to watch.
Just 3 bombs in Spike Cave, but honestly, Spike Cave is one of those ones that you can easily forget about. So that's always just good to have that check out of the way.
So he does have the mirror out. Is he going to use this, or is he going to route over to Catfish?
Yeah, Catfish wouldn't be a bad idea to route to, and I think Amatsu is going to be very pleasantly surprised in what's in our Paradox/Hype Cave today.
So Michael has the mirror out, so he's going to do Mushroom into Catfish into Sora.
Yeah, definitely some good routing ideas there for Michael. I like it, but unfortunately, the Bush has other plans in that mirror warp.
Yeah, that's not quite how that mirror works for him.
Yeah, I think he's feeling bushed right there.
I'm just ignoring you right now.
You're welcome.
That's the one he wanted.
And everybody get hype one more time. So yeah, Michael's going to be picking up Quake now, and Amatsu's going to get good stuff.
Michael's also going to take this time to buy some potions, which is why he is drinking the green and letting the bee go.
I wonder if that's lime flavor.
I don't think the witch cares.
No, but Matsu definitely getting his mitts on stuff finally. Oh, there's another bottle. I did miss that other bottle part, so I was so excited with the first stuff that missed that bottle. But yeah,
I was sitting on 2 bottles here.
Definitely plenty to get excited about. So the other thing that I get excited about too is seeing what these runners do. So if you like what you've seen out of Michael and Amatsu so far, definitely give them a follow. They've been doing great so far. It's been an exciting match, and it's been definitely worth a follow. So yeah, definitely check it out.
And Catfish is going to throw out the Uncle Bomb item.
I love how it throws out the 10 bomb item, and then after it throws live bombs at you, so it's like throwing its own supply at you.
Yeah, Catfish doesn't like you very much, he just wants to get rid of you.
Like, yeah, if I got woke up by somebody throwing rocks at me, I'd probably be a little angry with them too.
I guess it's time to get ripped off then.
Oh, yes, indeed. Now that, bottle vendor, is how you do it.
Yeah, plus 200 from the bottle merchant, minus 480 from Sora.
Merchant giveth, merchant taketh awayeth.
Michael opted to head over to King's Tomb there, but I feel like he's gonna be routing that in with Graveyard Ledge.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea too, considering the way Michael's been routing. I can see that happening. I don't blame him.
Amatsu unfortunately lifting up the pot and has to reset Hookshot Cave.
And I think Michael here is going to do a Skull Woods run.
Some players do opt to check these first few chests in Skull Woods if they don't have the Fire Rod, but at this point you have the equipment necessary to full clear this dungeon.
Indeed, and you got to do it anyway, and especially when it's one of our red crystals, do Meyer, then Fat Fairy could be on the play.
And I really like just going straight to the boss, not checking these first few chests at all.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, just get it on the way back, because I've noticed that Skullwood's items tend to be closer toward the back in my own with my own witnessing of playthroughs and stuff. So that's not a bad call, I think.
Regardless of what, you still need to do Mothula, and Mothula is an item location, so if you don't have to check these first few item locations, you can just skip them. Another thing also is that it increases the possibility of you having the big key when you return to the big key chest.
That too. It is one of the few dungeons that can have the big key in the big key chest, as you don't actually need it to complete the dungeon, but it's still a possibility.
And where's Amatsu going here? Okay, so he's going to Village of Outcast from the reverse tour route, I guess you can call it. He's gonna check K45 with this.
Not a bad call there. I mean, Michael hasn't checked it yet, so if there's an important item there, that could be a chance he needs to catch up a little bit.
This could potentially delay his chest delivery, because he's not going to have any item locations on the way and may want to wait until he gets the flute.
And picking up the My First Shield from K45, Shield is one of those items where you kind of got to invest in it a little bit. First Shield isn't worth a whole heck of a lot, but once you upgrade it once or twice, it definitely becomes a pretty viable item. So it's an investment.
It's all just preparation for Laser Bridge.
And as we all know, Laser Bridge is a fun time.
And there's always something there. Yay. At least it feels that way.
Usually at the very least a small key, so sometimes it is unavoidable.
Well, Amatsu is still going to take up this frog and go ahead with the hammer pegs.
Kind of surprised he's not using the the boots to do it, but, you know, hey, 6 of one, half dozen of the other. Not a big deal as long as you get it in the end, right?
Indeed, and as Michael joins us back, I'm pretty certain he has finished off an ugly moth.
It was so ugly, it was censored for us. Must have been gorier than a horror movie.
That explains so much, yet so little.
Let your mind fill in the blanks. And speaking of filling in blanks, we got a big 20 from our resident Smithy Dwarf.
And as I said, Amatsu is likely gonna wait with this chest until later.
Yeah, not a bad call. Kind of routing it when you go into desert anyway. If you can find the book too, that would help out a lot because you can check Bombo's tablet. But other than that, you know, I would probably wait.
Well, is Michael gonna take the fall here? He is, so there's at least one item left in Skull Woods.
And that's not one of them. There's our compass.
And that's a 1 rupee for Amatsu.
And there is at least one of our items, and boy, was that a nice find.
Finding the flute before you head to Village of Outcast when you have the mirror in hand, yeah, that's going to be really nice. But this could actually make K45 a bit weird for him to check with the purple chest delivery.
That is true too, but I think Michael knows what he's doing, so I trust his judgment here.
It's just that seems when you find these helpful items like the flute most notably, is that they often cause you to have these one-off locations in weird areas that you sometimes have to go back to.
Yeah, that is a good point too. So just finding the first item so far is 20 rupees in Thieves Town there that I've noticed.
So the flute will open up the Mire area and all the items there. Mr. Mire itself is not beatable since they are lacking the Cane of Samaria.
But wouldn't that be a doozy if the Cane of Samaria was right in its vanilla dungeon or location even?
It wouldn't be the first time.
Probably won't be the last, but I think probably in terms of trolling, putting an item in its vanilla location is probably ranks high up there because you're not going to think to check the vanilla location in rando.
But what if the vanilla location instead has a fetch quest and that fetch quest gives you the item?
Oh, that's even worse. I like how you think, Mr. Man.
I'm just repeating seeds that I've been commentating in the past.
I like how those seeds have put thoughts into your brain.
For some reason, you just tend to remember seeds that force you to triple dip Palace of Darkness.
Yeah, that'll do that. And Amatsu opting to go jump in a little bit more to into Thieves Town here. Interesting play.
Yeah, Michael is going to activate the flute, and while we wait for him to come back, Amatsu will continue his trip in Thieves Town.
Bloomerang there, so there's another item down.
It's going to be quite nice for him to have moving into Skullwood, since the Boomerang can stun the Gibdos, but Hookshot cannot.
Interesting. The Boomerang shows its versatility even more. It's not that it's not the greatest of items, but it's really starting to show it can help in a pinch.
Yeah, the boomerang is never required, but does have some fringe usage.
Great in dark rooms too, even because you can see it.
Oh yes, that is also true. We're gonna wait and see if this small key is gonna be in the upcoming chest for Amatsu, because that means there is likely something in the big chest. Nope, the key is locked inside.
Blue rupees.
Okay, so
And
this is interesting now, because the small key is locked in the big chest, and he didn't have the map and the compass, so the other is from Blind, and because Thieves Town is a pendant, he does not want to kill Blind.
no, though I actually didn't know that in Rando you could leave the dungeon with Maiden in tow. So interesting little learning for me.
And with Michael back with us here, I think you can clearly say that he's not been making this trip into Thieves Town.
There didn't seem to be a whole heck of a lot there, so good call there, I think.
I still think he's gonna go back in there later, but he's gonna make a very interesting tour with this chest. Getting Graveyard Ledge into King's Tome and then likely save and quit. No, he doesn't even have to do that. Just Mirror and Flute.
Yeah, because it does persist. Yeah, it does persist. So that is some interesting bit of route. I like his routing choices. I haven't seen them before, but they've been some really cool choices. And Amatsu finds his flute now, so that's going to help him out.
Michael's routing is definitely different from other players in this tournament.
It's unorthodox, but at least with this seed, it is working like a charm.
I just wish one could follow it more closely to get some interesting information from it. Amatsu is not interested in using the boomerang on the Gibdos. He's just going to use the Fire Rod instead.
Why stun them when you can just get rid of them? That's what I say.
And so
Much like the Wall Masters, they are very annoying.
they are.
And that too, if you have the green mail, that's one of those 2 hearts of damage things. So they hit like trucks.
So I have Michael's main stream open, and he is currently heading into Mireshed.
Interesting. This ought to be good.
He's not going to find anything in the shed, though. We'll also get
Meanwhile,
to see Amatsu moving towards Mothula.
we will see that Mothula fight, I hope.
Sitting on Temper with half magic Fire Rod. He is quite low on hearts, though.
Yeah, this is kind of a time where if you wanted to fill up at hearts, a Death Warp back now wouldn't be the worst of ideas. So you can at least get that little bit of health refill, but that's just kind of what I would be thinking.
Amatsu has to be very careful here, just sitting on a single heart.
Yeah, that's not the kind of health you want to go into a Mothula fight with. And that is precisely why.
That's an extremely unfortunate death for Amatsu, as Michael is gonna be making his trip into Desert. It's a crystal and it is fully completable.
As someone who has had to do about 7 times that single back of Skull Woods, I feel for Amatsu very much right now.
It's gonna have more hearts, but less magic on his second trip.
And there's going to be 2 items here in Desert to find. And there's one of them, and it is a sweet one. Hook shot, everybody.
It's gonna get the big key up here. It's vanilla location. So Hookshot is gonna open up the rest of Hookshot Cave at this point. Without the flippers, it's not useful in Swamp.
Yeah, because you do need flippers, mirror, hookshot, and hammer to full clear swamp.
Because they also don't have the flippers, they can't technically get into ice either, so it's just Hookshot Cave that unlocked. This is definitely becoming a rough seed if it hasn't already been.
And fight number 2 for Amatsu here, having a good more health here, and just gonna watch out for them spikes.
Also did stock up on the magic.
Nice clean fight that time for Amatsu. Well done. And Mothula just had the map.
And both our players are sitting on 3 crystals. Michael will be getting his 4th very soon.
Interesting using sword strats instead of silver arrow, but silver arrow is a little bit of a trickier option.
Silver arrows do have quite a short hitbox. There's a little bit of delay when you fire them, and it can only be 1 arrow fired at a time.
Yeah, the tricky part is if you don't hit them right as they're coming out, then unfortunately, you're probably not going to hit them that round. And it was just bombs as the other item in Skull Woods there, so all the items have been found.
Michael's going back, check the big chest. There is an item there. Amatsu's back into the Dark World. It's now gonna make this trip up to Catfish.
And 50 rupees, so more for the college fund.
I don't know if Michael has checked checkerboard, but I presume he must have. I'm gonna assume he checked the checkerboard.
Safe assumption, I mean, considering his routing and all.
Yeah, leaving the portal and not going back.
And I think Michael's doing a little bit of pondering.
Yeah, the item locations are getting quite low.
Matsu checking Zora.
So Hookshot Cave, as stated, is open. 3 more items there.
And I wonder if Michael's gonna check Thieves Town a little bit, or what he's gonna do here. Let's see.
Thievestown seems like the most likely, but we know there's nothing there.
Just like what Zora coughed up.
Yeah, pretty much. Did Amatsu even throw a bomb back at Sora?
I don't know, but if he did, I'm sure that has a certain letter etched on it.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really matter. So these flippers are currently preventing 2 crystal dungeons from being completed, and then there's that cane for Meyer, but I imagine our players want to see flippers before the cane, because the cane will open up Turtle Rock. Amasa's gonna activate his flute now, and considering his options, Meyer is the most logical place for him to go. That's going to be the case for Amatsu.
And we'll get to see what's in some of the Meyer places now. We know that Michael already did it, but we didn't get a chance to see what was inside, so this will be our first view.
There's a big heart here on the shed, but the other item was, I don't know, maybe an arrow capacity upgrade. Ooh, that's really unfortunate, not getting the block removal with the mirror.
Yeah, some frustration, anger slashes there. Some people do the slashes, some people do the pulls. What do you do?
I do nothing, I get a piece of heart instead.
And a nice aorta for you.
The only thing Michael's gonna get in here is the boomerang, which he picks up right now.
Yeah, at this point, it's definitely not the most useful of items to have, so...
And inside of checkerboard,
Survey says... 300 rupees. College fund is not vital right now.
it's a good thing not all of us have to fund for college.
Thankfully, yes.
Matsu wants to get back into this dark world. He is almost certainly going to be making the trip into desert. Matsu is going to be picking up the second boomerang there on the desert ledge.
It tends to be a little more laggier, so some people are kind of on it. But again, it does have its fringe uses, like you said before.
And here's the interesting thing. Michael is going through with the maiden and will beat blind.
Yay, we get to see the blind pun! Blind is always near and dear to my heart, everyone.
I'm just gonna sit here and just talk over it so you do not get an opportunity to do so. La 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 la. Okay, nope, we're just gonna mirror out.
Oh, he knew I was gonna, like, enjoy the pun, so... Michael, you just lost kudos points. Sad.
I mean, that's still a nice middle ground in case this still turns out to be a pedestal seed.
Yeah, at least setting up for blind there, that's actually a really good idea. Never thought of it that way.
Yeah, because if this is a pedestal seed, only flippers can be on the pedestal in that case. Amatsu has to go back to the basement and pick up the maiden.
And Michael not bothering with the shield.
He has found a shield. And Amatsu picked up that shield at that cave, so where's Michael's shield from? Oh,
There was one in the library, and then there was one in K45. We don't know where the other one is yet.
Oh yeah, he picked up the shield. He went back to the library and picked up that shield, but he didn't pick up the one in K45. That's really interesting.
I wonder if he feels like he's behind or anything. I wonder if that's why he skipped it.
Well, considering how the seed is going, it's difficult to say. A general consensus is though that players will always assume they are behind, because they always think that their opponent is playing the seed perfectly.
It's a good mindset to have, but don't get yourself so paranoid that you start making mistakes.
And it's not going to be heading into Hookshot Cave, so where's he going now? Oh, this is Meyer. Well, Meyer cannot be beaten, but possibly that both items can be acquired.
That's true, and hey, who knows? We could see a vanilla. We could see a vanilla Samaria.
It's always a possibility. We are looking for the King of Samaria and flippers at this point.
They're probably gonna flip out when they find them. I'm telling you that much.
I love you too. Amatsu opting for Fire Rod strats on Lanmolas. Very well done. Is this Quake correct timed?
Oh, almost. Nice try, though. But this is, I think this is the first time I've seen a medallion used that wasn't to open up a dungeon. So that's actually a cool thing to show off. Good job, Michael.
So it's interesting to get to see items used outside of their intended purpose. Lamasso's got the hook shot. Are you kidding me?
It is, let me tell you, chat, go nuts. Phantom Ryu, go even more nuts. It is the Cane of Samaria, everybody.
Oh, Seed, what are you doing? You're putting Turtle Rock in the pedestal in logic.
Uncle was right after all?
Maybe, but I guess this gives a reason to go up and check Hookshot Cave now.
It could very well be too, even though it's in logic. Turtle Rock could be a very painful red herring for these runners as well. So that's going to be a gamble and a half right there.
I don't even think that's a gamble anymore. They can't enter Swamp, they can't enter Ice, and neither of them can have flippers. It's not in Thieves Town. It could be the second item in Mire, but after that, it's Hookshot Cave and Turtle Rock. I think everything else has been checked.
I got a feeling that it's going to be in Hookshot Cave for the flippers, but we'll see.
Oh, we do have to wait and see. Michael takes a break while Amatsu just finds a piece of heart, and he actually wants that.
Yeah, Graveyard Ledge is another one of those places that's oft forgotten. So it's always good to go check it anyway, even if it has nothing, because it's always that one item or that one location that you don't check that has the item you're going to need. So peace of mind is always one of the best items a runner can have.
What was in the vanilla big key chest for Michael?
Big key?
For real?
This seed is about as vanilla as ice cream in Misery Mire.
You mean the... it says vanilla as the vanilla ice cream flavor.
Yes.
Okay, just double checking.
I tend to be more of a cherry chocolate chip guy, but that's neither here nor there.
As far as I know, well, I guess it depends on how you look at it, but there is chocolate in A Link to the Past.
Finding hookshot in desert. Oh, sweet, tasty, tasty.
Yeah. Mustard still has some overworld locations to do before he's gonna make the decision to go either into Mire or up to Hookshot Cave.
And as our other item, we have another Gringu bottle. So that's 3 bottles for our runners. So it is going to be either in Hookshot Cave or potentially Turtle Rock. We will have to wait and see.
So another thing as well, Michael will have Pyramid Fairy access after this.
Flippers could be there too.
He's likely going to check that before heading up to Death Mountain, just to avoid a trip up there and to avoid Turtle Rock. Oh, the purple chest had a shield.
Ah, so that's probably what we were missing earlier, so... Yeah, so now we know where to pick up the final shield. I like it.
And Amatsu will be making the trip to Hookshot Cave first.
Oh, of course. You don't want to just go back for Riot Shield, as nice as it is.
Backtracking for a shield upgrade is rarely done.
Not unless you're having a heck of a time with everything.
Yeah.
Though if he does have to get the flippers on Laser Bridge, he's going to wish he had it. Or maybe that's just me.
Michael has to be careful here, but I'm pretty certain he has a blue potion or two.
Absolutely, and with the Silver Arrow in tow, we're going to see Clear Eyes. Because this the Silver Arrow here, it clears them out so fast, you're just going to say, wow.
I'm gonna say odd eyes.
Yeah, that's the main thing you're going to want to watch out with Beatrice is those bolts, but once you get them in that phase, 2 Silver Arrows at all it takes.
That's the compass, that's Pyramid Fairy in Logic. Master now checking the 3 item locations in Hookshot Cave.
Well, let's see.
And there's only 1 remaining now.
Ladies and gentlemen, I guess it is not in there, so it's either in Pyramid Fairy or the dreaded Turtle Rock Pendant Dip.
Or the dreaded pedestal.
Ooh, that too, I almost forgot about that.
Me and my foul mouth.
Foul? No, you have just earned the love of the chat. You know how bloodthirsty
Dead
they
Rock.
are. Oh, Dead Rock on the bridge. That's just mean.
So Amatsu didn't check Spike Rod. Spike Rod? Spike Rod. Yes, Spike Rod. It's used against Mothula. Spike Cave earlier, so he's gonna check it now.
Spike Rod would be a pretty sweet item if it ever existed. I can't fault you for thinking that way.
Yeah, Mothula is the Spike Rod, that's why Mothula is immune to spikes.
Uh-oh. And Michael just realizing that he left without the,
Nope.
Oh, no, I thought he... Oh, no, he did the glitch. I'm sorry, I did not even see that bomb behind him anymore.
You do have to leave the bomb behind in order to get that glitch.
That I did forget about. And funny enough, too, we see here that the super bomb does no damage, but regular bombs do. What is this?
It's not the flippers, that's what it is.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be diving into Turtle Rock, I think. So hold on to your hats and get ready for a pendant dungeon dip.
Yay. So do you like 1 hour 35-minute into Pendant Turtle Rock to find the final item? Because I'm not sure I do.
That's how Random rolls sometimes, and we just roll with the punches. So started off nice, but Uncle, when I said they were going to have a bad time, he was right after all. Nice psychic, Uncle.
This seed is just a prime example of Commentator's Curse. You said you wanted a nice seed, and look where we are.
Hey, I've been right more often than not. I tend to have ESP like that too. It's just Uncle's won out in the end.
Yeah, okay, I take full responsibility then. Matsu's gonna get his cane here. Be able to do Meyer and perhaps go and check Pyramid Fairy and get nothing there.
So, yeah, Michael's going to check Hookshot Cave and be pretty disappointed, so we'll be seeing a Turtle Rock play in just a second here.
Three items in here, it's not going to get anything, and then it's back into Turtle Rock, and it's going to hope to find the flippers as early as possible, but both Book and Powder are still here for the fetch.
Yeah, I have a feeling that... I do have a feeling it could be here, even though it can be on PED now. I could be wrong again, but we'll see. We got 5 items to check in Turtle Rock.
Never a great feeling when you have to make this pendant dip into Turtle Rock, but there has been a lot of cases this tournament where a mandatory item has been inside of Pendant Turtle Rock.
Not there yet, we just have a little teeny key. And always nice to have Hookshot here, at least for doing this puzzle. Makes it a lot shorter.
Yeah, we'll see if he's gonna use the Hookshot here to avoid take damage or up for an invulnerability item instead. Hookshot it is.
Hookshot is just, it's about as utilitarian as the Cane of Samaria, excuse me. So, definitely a great item to have in any run.
Matsu once again has to be careful down to 2 hearts here.
Oh man, almost missed the train the first time, but caught back up with the next train to Turtle Rockville.
It does take a little bit of time before you can actually step on the thing.
Yeah, nice usage of Fire Rock on the Hokuboku there. It's probably the easiest way to get rid of it.
There's
nice
the big key.
And nice use of iframes there too to get by the chain shops. Those are trouble with any mail, so that's that was a good play there.
The chain shops does an unnatural amount of damage.
Their bite definitely is worse than their bark.
If you say so.
I mean, I do. I mean, just look how much damage those things do.
Yeah. What is that sprite?
I think it's the little squid there, because we have the Inkling from Splatoon here is Michael's sprite, so it turns into a little squid thingy from the game.
I guess I need to play Splatoon one day.
I know of it, but I haven't had a chance at it myself. Ooh, close call for Matsu here. You gotta be really, really careful.
Both our players here on 1 heart.
I think Michael still has some potion he can use, but I don't know so much about. Oh, not so much Amatsu, unfortunately.
And sadly, no ferry, so he has to make the trip back there.
Oh, that's rough. I am sorry, Amatsu.
Michael almost forgetting about Mimikyu.
And nice clear that, and we will see a yes, one of the 28 red rupees again.
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
I've seen a couple of matches where our runners have picked up just about every single one.
I like this def reset here for Michael just to get hearts back.
It's I love the clever moves he's been pulling out on this one here.
Back up to 8. It's gonna get a lot of money, which is only going to be spent on blue potions.
Pass go, collect 300 rupees.
Moving on to more important matters. Small keys are very important matters.
Oh, absolutely.
So, if you want this race to get closer, then you want this to be a pedestal seed, because Amatsu is going to be able to do Thieves Town a little bit faster than Michael, correct?
Yeah, I believe so, because he did set up blind where where Amatsu did not. So that's a little bit out of the way.
Oh wait, it was the other way around. Then I guess it doesn't matter.
Amatsu just warped out, or just left the dungeon after getting the maiden, but Michael set it up. So
Okay,
we'll have to
I'm
see.
wrong. This is why I'm a commentator and not a runner in this tournament. Michael's gonna take this back setup here, just to be safe.
Yeah, when you get Laser Bridge, you want to have every advantage you can, because this is a really big pain in the butt here.
He does have half magic, so just using the cane.
Good call here, but not a whole lot of items to be found. Yeah, there's our flippers. Boy, oh boy.
Well, that's go mode at 1 hour 42 minutes.
So no Ped Seed, but the second best thing for chat, Laser Bridge flippers.
There's always something on Laser Bridge. Always. Well, Michael's gonna have the great time of getting to go mode both Swamp and Ice Palace.
Yeah, those. If anything, those are two dungeons you really want to go mode. So that's something you got to be really happy about right there as a runner.
So it's gonna be interesting to see how many chest locations will be checked. No powder, which is a very nice safety item to have, and no tier 4 sword yet.
Yeah, at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if Michael just only checked the chest that he had to.
He is almost certainly going to be checking the chest that you just dash past at the waterfalls.
And Amatsu picking up the Crystal from Vitreous after a nice silver arrow fight.
I imagine that he's gonna be checking Pyramid Ferry before going to Turtle Rock.
I would imagine so too, which is, as we know as commentators, isn't the right play, but I think,
As commentators, we're always wrong.
but at least I can say I'm not wrong when I say that Michael is going to be able to go through swamps very swimmingly, so I'm down. I'm down.
No, you're wrong, because he's already done the only little part of swimming that you actually need, so he's not going to be swimming anymore. Oh yeah, there's a little bit at the end, but that doesn't count. There's the current bringing you with you.
Current events.
Oh, you... Why is this happening to me? Why?
But I mean, he won't have to check left side though, so that's always a good thing.
Yes, 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 yes. Oh, he's got the small key he needs to head to Argus.
Yeah, and Argus is a pretty easy boss fight anyway, so, yeah, I mean, there's not going to be any problems there, I can't imagine. So Michael should watch his health, though.
It's been a main issue for both our runners this match, the health situation.
Yeah, maybe getting powder could work in their favor. I mean, they can definitely whistle over and get some potions before they do some of the other stuff, but I don't think they'll need it too much, what with Argus and all.
Michael's even gonna be skipping this waterfall chest. He's not looking for powder. He is perfectly fine with what he has.
Yeah, and for all he knows, it could very well show up in Ganon's tower. So, you know, why waste time trying to search for powder when it just could be right there, you know?
Yep, fair point.
And Amatsu having to do the disappointing long road of sadness to the flippers on Laser Bridge now.
And Michael's just taking down all the Argai.
Probably the worst thing you could have is not being able to have a good item to kill the Argai at first, because then you gotta have fun with menu fighting.
You can actually use the spin from my fighter sword well timed to take him out. It's not an easy setup to get though. Michael's gonna get his fourth and final bottle.
Good thing to have. I didn't see what was in the bottle, unfortunately.
Me neither. Michael's just gonna take this short run walk over to Ice Palace.
I don't know if we saw... Did we see what was on the island earlier? I can't quite remember.
5 rupees, maybe?
Oh, useful, yeah. Something to chuck at Ganon's head in anger. Okay.
Yeah, it's definitely an item that is not needed.
And Amatsu got to be careful in the chain chomp room here. Even with Blue Mail, they still take out a whole chunk of health. Ooh, that was close.
It's a very good dodge. So one of the main challenges for Michael here is getting this Ice Palace bomb jump. He got all the bombs he will ever need though.
Yeah, the Ice Palace bomb jump, that is a very tricky jump when you're learning to do it, but it is very essential for if you're doing rando or any sort of race. So you're definitely going to want to learn that as one of your first maneuvers. Have you been able to get, because I know you said you're not a runner, but have you been able to get it taken care of yet?
Yeah, just give me 15 tries and I can get it.
Yeah, there's plenty of ways to go about doing it. It's all about figuring out the way that works best for you. Very nice double takeout on the Stalfos Knights here.
Amatsu taking the trip back through the pipes and picking up the full magic.
Oh, almost there. It is harder if you have a different sprite, because then you've got to measure that up carefully. So it looks like he's trying to... There he goes. Third time's the charm. But it looks like he was trying to line that up with the thick black line on the north door there.
Yeah, there are different ways to try and line that up. You had to be a little bit careful after the jump to not get knocked back down again by the fire bar.
Indeed, a nice sword slashes on the Hokoboku there. Amatsu definitely making the best of Turtle Rock on low health here.
It's done a very good job being able to avoid most of the issues. Ooh, he's not gonna check Mimikay. Okay, he is. Not that it's gonna matter because it's not there.
Yeah, but I think at this point, peace of mind... Well, it's not going to be so much peace of mind here, but just getting it out of the way. Because if he forgets it and doesn't... And if he wouldn't find it there, if it was there, then it would be really frustrating.
When you have so few item locations to check, you can't skip out on any.
And Matsu's probably seeing red there. He wants to get those flippers and get the heck out. This is such an out-of-the-way location.
Michael's gonna be his fire rod here on phase 1 coast there.
I always like using the bombos myself, but to each their own.
The unfortunate icicle prevents him from getting the spin to set up Colster into the corner.
Yeah, it's always tricky when they end up splitting up, because then you gotta chase them down everywhere, and then those icicles don't play nice.
And that's gonna be Michael's 7th and final crystal.
Yes, indeed. And do you know what time it is, Marjovic?
Yeah, it's about 8 p.m. where I live. What about you?
I think 8 p.m. is a great and fantastic time to start our big key game. Folks, there are 22 locations that that the big key can be in Ganon's Tower. Get your guesses in now. And I believe if you are part of the speed gaming extra little bit there, I never can remember what it's called, there's a chance to get some leaderboard points here. Otherwise, we can give some other consolation prizes. Well, fun ones. We don't actually have anything to give you, sadly, but we wish we could.
So you can win if you're the first person to guess right, and you're either a subscriber to any of the speed gaming channels, and or have donated a total of 250 bits. And Amatsu gets his flippers.
Fantastic. So, Marjovic, what chest do you think it's in?
I've said this before that I don't like bobs. I'm just going to continue to want it to be on the torch. I don't know if that's going to be 3 or 7 this time. We'll just have to wait and see.
I think I'm going to I'm going to go with the double firebar room. That's usually 8 in traditional routing, if I'm not mistaken.
It is 8 if you start on the right side and head left.
And so with that, get your last second guesses in, folks, because once it goes in, we'll do the cutoff, and we will see who is the right person.
And entering Ganon's tower at almost 1 hour 55 minutes, you have to feel you are behind.
Absolutely, especially with that one...
Straight left side.
Ooh, left side check. Just a green rupee on your torch there, so unfortunately no dice there. I think it was trying to mock you. You should mock it back.
We could always find something before we get to Bob, and that still makes me happy.
There's our big key. I believe that is numero 5 today. So, whoever picked 5, congratulations! If you're one of those lucky people who have donated a little bit, then you got some points. If not, you have won an all expenses paid trip to the Dark World Swamp Palace Spa without the Moon Pearl, mind you. Feel like a whole new you.
Well, congratulations to Paul the Black for being the closest guesser at 4.
Fantastic. But, even though Michael K's got a pretty good lead, as I always say, it's not over until the Fat Fairy sings, because I have seen some major come-from-behinds a couple of times in my runs as commentators, so I have learned that fact very much.
We also still have Moldorm 2 left.
That too, because hopefully no bouts of Moldezuma's Revenge will be happening.
Michael does still have a few potions in the back.
Always handy to have, especially in the gauntlet. Sometimes they play nice, other times they just don't like you. Especially when you got ice and conveyor belts, and at least it's just a Zazax and not something even more irritating. Nice aim with a fire rod there on Michael.
Yes, getting these very nice shots in.
And opting for fire rod strats again. We know he has time here to... if it doesn't go out the way he planned, so... but needs to be careful.
Yeah, he's gonna use the potion, get back his magic as well.
And 2 down. And that is 3.
And that is the hard part of the gauntlet, as to speak.
Yeah, sometimes it can go smoothly, other times just no. And the always fun Samaria strats here in the Wizrobe room here.
Yeah, these rooms are pretty straightforward. You dash through 2 of them, and you use Cane of Samaria and the other 2.
So that second one, let me tell you, Michael makes it look easy, but boy, oh boy, does that take a lot of practice to pull off from personal experience. So that is not an easy room to clear sweep out like that.
It's a very strict timing on that because of the Wizrobes despawning.
And for more torch fun, here we are up here. Not needing the full magic container that's in the rightmost skull pot, but it's there if you need it.
Michael's got everything. He's gonna pick up the full magic. Or not, yeah, the full magic in the next room. Will not be able to pick up any hearts because of the lack of powder. Amatsu is releasing a bee here at this crystal. Will likely be heading to the witch.
Haven't seen that before, but I do like seeing the crystals covered in bees. And Moldorm 2 time! And beautiful, nothing to worry about. And will he check that last chest, though, is what I want to know.
If he really does want to find the final sword. That's an extremely convenient item to find.
Piece of heart that turns it into a full heart container. I agree. That's one of those things that's hard to set up, but boy, did that work out fantastic for Michael.
I mean, that was essentially getting sand heart in that chest.
And now let's see how Aga 2 lines up.
It's all about getting some good patterns here and no blue balls.
As a good friend of mine puts it, trigonometry here, which is... it can be rather tough if the other clones want to teleport all over the place.
These patterns are not being particularly nice. This one's a bit better. Wait, what? Did it hit the wall because Aga got knocked into the wall?
Could very well be either that or one of the clones ate it. I didn't think clones could eat, like, magic food.
I guess this game is very well designed.
And there we go. Finally taking down Aga, and oh, look at that. Spoiler alert, it's Ganon.
Yep. I love games where you don't have any interaction with the main villain until it's time for the final boss.
Practically call it Rosebud at this point. And some Ganon karaoke to start off, and we are on phase 1 right now. And getting enough sword slashes for phase 2. Phase 2 being I find the most difficult of all the Ganon phases. Just because you have so much flying around that deals so much damage, even if you do have the red mail, it can get ugly in a hurry. That
slash knockback was so perfect, allowing him to, from the knockback, go between two Firebirds.
Oh, and an unfortunate death here for Michael.
That's extremely unfortunate.
That's why it's always tricky. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
So he doesn't even go back to the tree that's just below that you can bonk into and get a fairy. He's missing exactly 7 hearts. He's just going straight in.
And nice charge up double slash there. Definitely going to be careful, though. I think he still has 1 blue potion, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's saving it for the final phase.
With silvers and this sword, I would say that phase 2 is harder than phase 4. Are you going to release the bee? No. Okay, it does have a blue potion.
Thankfully, Michael still does have time if this Ganon fight doesn't quite work out to warp out, get some potions, and warp back. But hopefully it's not going to be a situation where he feels like he's so behind that he ends up making mistakes. And on to phase 3. This is going to be a close one here.
Yeah, definitely. Everything in the back here says the green potion. I'm a little surprised he didn't opt to use the cape on phase 2 since he does have that.
Could be thinking of using the cape in the final one, because that's really the one you don't want to get knocked off on. But we'll have to see.
That's a lot of menu swapping between cape, lamp, fire rod, and bow.
Yeah, it's something you don't want to do, but if you do what you got to do.
Oh, very nice glitch.
Always a relief to get that torch. Oh, almost there. Was it a double?
It was just a single. Oh, wow, these touches are so impressive.
And there we go, Michael, finishing off again with some very close moves here.
It's a great finish here for Michael, being able to take this victory. He, before this, sat on 4 straight losses before coming back with his second win of this tournament with an official time of 2 hours, 4 minutes, and 54 seconds. And he is already in here with us.
GG. Wow, he wasted no time. Hello.
Hello, and thanks. How did my opponent do?
Your opponent is, it looks like just getting out of Ice Palace here, so definitely a clear-cut win. That was a nice Ganon fight, dude. That was close, but that was exciting.
The Ganon, I really thought I was so close. I really thought it had to be really close. And then the death, I should have drank the potion the first time.
And it happens to all of us at some point or another, but no harm in it. You had a nice lead there. Oh, and he's called... Okay, now, so Hospital is called Sandwiched, but that's neither here or there. So, yeah, man, GG. How you feeling now?
Well, feeling good. Bit excited that I won.
So I gotta ask you too, that having to dip so far into Turtle Rock for those flippers, man.
I was prepared for the pedestal seat at that point.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I mean, it started off nice to you, and then Uncle's words came true.
Yeah, always. Uncle never lies. Well, in a random, not when it goes for the bad stuff.
So I have to say too, I liked a lot of your routing choices. They were different from what I've seen before, but they worked out really well for you. Going to Eastern right away, is that something you typically do, or how did you think about doing that one, like the first moment in?
Well, I got the bow, and I usually have the tendency to say, I hope that I get Dark Mode access by the time I reach Kakariko. So just do everything I can before Kakariko and hope that I have Dark Mode access, but Dark Mode access was Aga-locked. So unlucky.
Hey, well, at least it wasn't Ped Seed, right?
No, that's what's close to it.
I know, right? Just almost there. Almost. Yank the chain. No pet for you. And your opponent has made it into Ganon's Tower. What are some other thoughts? Like any kind of troublesome thoughts, I guess, or that things that you found troublesome we may not have caught there, or anything that worked out beautifully for you. You felt.
Well, I found it nice that the seat never gave me red armor. At least that one wish I got.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember saying that because you didn't like how it looked on the Inkling sprite, correct?
Yeah, it just doesn't really. Oh my god! I see what's on pedestal. And if it would have been something, what would have helped?
Oh, I don't know. What was it?
We will get to know it soon enough, but when you got into Ganon's Tower, you went straight left. Why did you do that?
Dark Magician strats. I usually want to go right side early, but there is only a small chance that there's a key on the right side. So I use this as my sector way when I want to go down to the right side.
It's definitely not the most common strat. That's something you usually do.
It's more a coin flip. When I enter Ganon's Tower, I think left or right, and then go with it.
Did you think you were behind when you got into Ganon's Tower?
I didn't start really behind, but I at least thought it was close, like 1 minute at max.
Yeah, I can see where that having to get the flippers so far in is a required item. I can see that.
Yeah. So far, required items so far are usually meaning that no matter what routing choices you did, you end up finding those at the same time.
And so I do have a thing, and one of my friends does this on his asks this question on his com, and I think it's a good question. What's something you take away from this seed? Good, bad, anything? What's something you take away from from this year?
Well, a bit annoying, but nothing horrible in it, so a good seed. Good V29 seed.
Yeah, definitely could have been worse things. I mean, they front loaded you. The seed front loaded you really hard, so that must have been happy when you found Bo there.
Well, the bow was a big decider to do Eastern first. Didn't ended up having much more than a bottle, but yeah, that.
So, Marzovic, you got any other questions out of curiosity, or?
I feel like the main points of interest here was the routing, which has been answered.
Okay, I didn't want to take it all away from you, so.
It's always like this for me during the interview. It's cool.
At least, if you want to stay and join us for the rest of Amatsu here, looks like you made it through the gauntlet pretty well.
Is sitting on a good health count, has more than enough magic.
And even if it wasn't, there's always an opportunity to go fill up beforehand at filling up the fairies there, like what Matsu did. And we're seeing your important stuff now.
Oh, and did you guys catch was on the pedestal?
I did, yes.
A nice little magic sack. A nice little powder.
Was there ever a thought of delaying the mushroom to do fake powder on Batcave?
Yeah, I thought about it till I was going to catfish, and at that point it could have been anything, and just turned it in, hoping that it doesn't burn me. But it's in the end, I think the coin that the mushroom gave was for Maya, and Maya locked Kane. So there was no chance for that.
Yeah, so that mushroom you get there definitely did play after all. That's the weird thing about those fetch quests. A lot of the time they don't pan out, but when they do, do they ever?
Yeah, Shovel was Boots, I think. So,
Oh yeah, Shovel was Boots, yeah.
So Boots fetch quests paid out.
And the shovel was in Hype Cave.
Oh,
Yeah.
and
But we didn't have Mirror at that point.
And Amatsu just finishing up Moldorm 2 there, being a little tricky, but thankfully was able to get a good one-time deal on that one. Very, very nice. Yeah, Aghanim 2 here did not play nice for you as Amatsu reaches that.
Yeah, I am usually quite bad at Aghanim fights. I struggled a lot with the first one and wasn't that much better with the second one. But the most disappointing thing was when he teleported to the upper corner and I hit him up and his ball didn't spawn.
Yeah, we actually did see that. I couldn't tell if it's just like one of the clones ate it for some weird reason or what the heck happened. That just really did not like you. Oh, hey, it happened. Oh, hey, there we go. It happened again for Amatsu, too.
But I think it was I hit the egg on him and she ended up spawning the ball in the wall.
Yeah,
So,
I caught that, too. I think that's just what happened.
yeah. This game is just broken. You should play it more.
Oh, believe me, I have been. I had mentioned it in the intro, but I've been having some pretty horrible luck on my own practice seeds.
Yeah, my own practice seats, I usually tend to shoot myself a burden of having only 3 yards throughout the game.
Ooh, and Amatsu there doing some like really sweet dodging the first time there on that trident. Let's see here. Amatsu's on phase 3.
He's got the magic, he's got the health, he's got the arrows.
I'm glad he's continuing it on with it, though, even though we haven't said a whole lot about what's going on at the moment. But definitely kudos for Amatsu sticking through it.
Oh yes, absolutely.
And no torch glitch here yet, but we are getting close to... I think he got one hit really early, too. Oh, almost hit the double.
There's no need for a torch glitch if you're just gonna do silvers.
That's true, but it is always... Every little bit helps as far as I'm concerned. And Amatsu with a nicely done cannon fight. And we'll be finishing... And we'll be entering the room. We should have an official time here in just a moment.
Let's finish with an official speed racing TV time of 2 hours, 17 minutes, 25 seconds. And I believe he is already in here with us.
Hey, they've been eager to join us.
I invited myself for the interview.
Oh, you rude person, you. GG Amatsu, seriously.
It felt like everything went wrong with that run. I don't even want to see my death count.
Hey, you know what? Sometimes that's just how random rolls. If it's any consolation, I have been...
Let's finish with an official speed racing TV time of 2 hours, 17 minutes, 25 seconds. And I believe he is already in here with us.
Hey, they've been eager to join us.
Question mark?
I
So
really
whenever I
want
hear
to
my
know
own
what
voice,
you
I'm kind of like, person, you. GG Amatsu,
I'll turn
seriously.
that off real quick.
Okay, there we go. Now just trying to recollect what I was... Oh, yeah. But I was going to say about that, I've been having some really, really, really nasty practice seeds lately, so I really fell for you on some of those happenings there, Amatsu.
Yeah. It just felt like every play I made, it's like, oh, I bet something in A tier. Oh, it's just rupees. That's fun.
Yeah, it's why I've called the red rupee the running gag item in some runs. Boy, especially those flippers deep down in the turtle rock, though.
I was a little mad to find them there. Like, just a little bit. Like, I was, where the heck's the flippers the entire seed? And
Yeah,
it's like, ugh.
Yeah, I was imagining you were flipping out over that one in the not happy way.
Yeah, well, you probably noticed that I I told King Zora what I thought of his 20 rupees.
As you should.
But I just felt like I couldn't get into the groove for whatever reason. Like, I don't know why. Just bad day. Who knows?
Hey, sometimes that happens in the midst of rando. You know, no shame in it. And still, hey, 2 hours is still nothing to sneeze at. So,
I know, that's
you know,
about on
still
par.
good job.
That's about on par with where my PBs have been hitting, so.
What's your PB so far, out of curiosity?
I think it's actually right on 2 hours.
Hey, that's still.
I'll have to check the VOD again.
Yeah, that's still pretty good, though. I mean, that's still pretty close to your PB and everything. So, you know, hey, still a good job.
It was a fun seed once everything started to fall into place. The early silvers made me think, oh, this is going to troll me. I just know it is.
But at least they're always nice to have.
Anytime Rando gives you some nice stuff early on, it's going to pull a fast one. Oh, that's where the powder was, on the pedestal.
Head powder.
Yeah, the legendary master powder can sleep forever.
Powder can put them to sleep. But seriously, though, oh boy. But yeah, I think that was just rough all around. You think Uncle called it at the beginning?
Yeah. Like, he definitely called it 100%.
I was hoping not, but unfortunately he was right.
At least it was bow start. That's one of the better ones.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, you can at least jump over to Eastern Palace and kick that thing's butt. So that's always good to have.
You know, I had a feeling it was going to give me the lap pretty quick when I saw all crystals in Light World.
Yeah, that'll definitely do it. Marvik, any questions for our friend here?
Yeah, and it seems like we're completely dominating this interview. Ask away.
It's just the way that it proceeds during the interview time with me.
Fair
strong,
enough.
silent type.
We're not going to give you the
Yep.
silent treatment. That's bad.
Yeah, I'm tired here of all the horrible puns. My apologies.
We're sorry.
None taken. No offense taken. But I guess
No offense meant.
But I always say too, what just something. It's something you take away from the seed, or just from this matchup. Because one of my buddies always asks when he commentates, always something you can take away from it. What's the one thing you think you take away from this?
That uncle is always right. Because he called this one. I think the problem is I tend to favor going to one-off locations where there's only one or two chests, and it kind of kicks me in the butt a lot later on in terms of time. And I have to start learning to try and go for bigger chest density areas before those ones. Of course, watch the next seed where all the items would be in one or two chest areas. And then my plan to backfire.
Oh, I know, right? It's just always how Rando seems to roll, right?
But yeah, it was fun. I can't be too mad at the seed. I wasn't that far behind Michael there.
Hey, and if nothing else, good practice.
I have a feeling it was the deaths that knocked me behind pretty quick.
It can happen.
Either that or he dove Turtle Rock well before I did. And found those slippers and just zoomed through everything else.
He actually went into Mire much earlier than you.
Yeah.
I
tend to not like going into a dungeon if I know I can't complete it, which can kind of be a bad thing, especially if the item to complete it is actually in there for once. Oh wow, only 3 deaths. It felt like 30.
It's still not bad though. I think I think just all the extra rotten luck just made it seem like you were dying inside a lot more. And to be honest, it would have been me too. I would have felt that as well.
Oh well, that was fun. Thank you for commentating, both of you, and thank you, Michael, for being my competitor in this week.
Yeah, thanks to you as well. GG.
Yes, GG. Who was restreaming? I forget.
Well, it's Speed Gaming, so we shall not call them out. And thanks for Raspberry Flu for tracking.
Indeed.
Hey, thanks for running. Always glad to see the runners brave enough to put them out there for us, yourselves out there for us. So yeah, thanks for the great match. I've had a great time with this.
Awesome. If I entertained, then I succeeded.
Success made for both of you. Thank you.
And obviously, there is always more a link to the past randomizer. We have a race over on Speed Gaming 2 right now between Salvaro and LunyCloud87. And in 30 minutes, we will have GamerCal versus TGH on Speed Gaming.
Ooh. That sounds like some hype matches.
Definitely does. So yeah, definitely more rando to check out today, tomorrow. Lots to see here. So there's plenty to wet your whistle with.
I think I'll be hopping on out. Thanks once again, all of you. And I will see you all another time.
Certainly. Thanks for stopping by, Amatsu.
No problem.
Same to you, Michael. Thanks for stopping in and hanging out with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me, and bye.
And of course, big thank you to our runners, and also be sure to follow all of our Twitch channels at Speed Gaming 1 through 6 and ALTTP Randomizer 1 through 4. And I've been Marjevich.
And I've been Rick. Any last words before we head out, Marjevich?
That was the final word.
Fair enough. I got a couple more. I do want to thank Speed Gaming. As Marjevich said, follow Speed Gaming 1 through 6 and ALTTP Randomizer 1 through 4. Big thanks to Raspberry Flu for being our tracker. And as always, I thank chat. We are nothing without you, chat. So thank you for coming by and always making it a good time. And also a big thank you to Marjevich for having to put up with me as a co-commentator. Thank you very much.
I guess you're welcome.
I guess. I love it. So until then, he's been Marjevich. I've been Rick. We're signing off. Thank you for stopping by. Have a fantastic rest of your day.